Welcome to BSE, Mr. Ashishkumar, Chauhan, Managing Director and CEO of Bombay Stock Exchange. It's a great privilege to talk to you. BSE is a barometer of Indian economy. Could you like to tell us about how it is doing in the last few days?
Currently, the markets are doing really well because of a variety of reasons. International activities on e-commerce look good, and Indian sort of political framework is looking good because of the majority government that has come in recently. And so, because of a variety of reasons, people think that the economic activity is going to increase manifold over the next 5-7 years, and that's how people are trying to invest in the Indian markets from India as well.
So, what are the new things that can be expected from BSE?
Currently, we work on several things. Today, BSE's technology has become pretty fast. It gives you response time in 200 microseconds. When you place an order, you get a confirmation in less than 200 microseconds, which is one of the fastest in the world. And just give you a perspective, in 1 second, there are 10 lakh or 1 million microseconds. And so we give you response time in that framework, and that ends up making it sort of so much fast that you get the information faster, but you also are able to execute on that information much faster. And the BSE has become 10 times faster than any exchange in India, and probably in the next couple of years it will take you to a response time of 20 microseconds, which is 10 times faster than what it is today. So it's basically internationally the speed is of essence in the markets, and also in financial sector, even banking, and every area, the speed is of essence, and that's where BSE is kind of taking leap into becoming a thought leader in the speed and flexibility of the products. The newer things which BSE has come out with in terms of the products, there is a new framework of mutual fund distribution through exchanges, where across the country about 2,000 cities and 300,000 users, BSE is able to also distribute mutual funds. And that gives mutual fund buyers and sellers a complete consistency in when they are going to get their funds and units. Similarly, SME platform of BSE has got 66 companies listed and 24 more companies to list in the next 1.5 months. So it's again gaining ground, and many of the entrepreneurs would be delighted that the BSE SME platform is now the largest platform in India on SMEs, and you can actually list your companies to create wealth for yourself and the investors who invest in your companies. And in addition to the venture capital, private equity, and other avenues you may have, the listing is practically the most important milestone you will have. Even if you have a private equity, people investing in you or venture capitalists investing in you, they would want you to list. And so if you are able to list your company up front, that takes away a lot of hassles later on. Similarly, we are now in the process of implementing the new guidelines of Securities and Exchange Board of India, expect to come very shortly on the real estate investment trust. That allows, it's more similar to mutual funds in real estates. Instead of investing directly into real estates, you can invest in the real estate investment trust, and you can earn returns which are for different time if you would want to invest. So BSE works on many of these investment products in terms of what we call the derivatives products, which are basically known as hedging products or speculative products. BSE has recently started currency derivatives, where BSE has gained more than 30% market share in less than 6 months. And there you can buy or sell currency pairs, currency options, currency futures in US dollars, Great Britain pound, and Japanese yen, and many even in euro. And similarly, you can always trade in equity derivatives. Sensex futures, Sensex options have been huge ground. BSE has become a 4th largest exchange in the world in terms of index options, currency futures, even in currency options. It's one of the top exchanges in the world. So effectively, BSE, which used to be considered a little slow compared to competition, today has become much much more sought after because of the technological changes it has been able to bring in last few months, and that is what has given age, which will kind of take it forward also going forward.
Mr. Chauhan, it's never easy. It's never easy to be on the top. But if you're on the top of the BSE, one of the hot stock exchanges in India, with so much happening, how do you handle the pressure?
Basically, you have to take one day at a time, and you have to ensure your basically you don't try to be too pressured by the milestones, and also don't get impressed by the public education you get, and try to focus on your job. I think it works.
The fact that you said that speed is the matter, is what matters the most in such transactions. So it's very easy said than done. Can you explain how does it BSE achieve its technological?
See, basically in any area, the first person ends up getting the job. If you are in the railway line ticket, railway ticket lines, or if you are in any area, the first person gets the work done, and the other persons may or may not get the work done. So effectively, if you are able to get information faster, and you are able to execute faster, then you are having a double edge. You have a double advantage, and that's what especially in stock markets, because you are able to see orders. If you get that information about orders faster compared to other people who may not be sort of so fast, you get first the information faster, and then you are able to execute faster. Then you are basically you are like a winner, and that's what BSE tries to do with all its investors. That BSE wants all its investors to be winner. That we want to give them information the fastest and execution the fastest. What we have done is we have implemented a new technology on a totally new platform. It is open source. It is on Linux and it is on MySQL, and that basically ensures that our cost of technology is much lower, and at the same time we are able to provide the state-of-art response time that is available elsewhere in the world. And it also allows us a platform to develop on the future, because if you work on older technologies, you are not able to change things, you are not able to increase the speed, and the costs are practically 50 times larger. And so the newer technology allows us to be faster at a much cheaper cost, and also our scale, which used to be 5,000 orders a second, has now become 5 lakh orders a second. And our response time, which was 10 milliseconds, now has become 200 microseconds. So we are practically 100 times bigger and 50 times faster, but at a cost which is a fraction of what we used to pay earlier. So those kind of advantages BSE is not able to get for itself, but also able to give it to the investors and the broking community.
So is handling around more than 3 lakh people on your system?
On the total system has a huge number of users across the country. There are people with 7,000 branches, there are members with 7,000 branches, and then there are people who are one-man shows. And we are able to give access to the customers and the brokers directly through the internet or through their own systems by giving APIs and so on and so forth, or through mobile. And so we give ability for every user. So we have 26 million users. That is the investors registered with, and any one of them could directly log into our system, but the risk management which broker wants to do happens on the orders they place, either if the order comes from mobile or internet. And many of the brokers also have what we call algorithm trading softwares, which does not have any human intervention, and still we are able to sort of service all these different types of clients and all different types of needs in the framework that they are expecting from us.
Does BSE also plan to go open source?
BSE is completely open source. In fact, today BSE data warehouse of 150 terabytes is one of the largest in India. It's on Hadoop platform, which is open source. BSE's trading system, which is the core of its sort of working, is also on open source. We use Linux and MySQL database. And so we think open source has a great future, especially in Indian conditions where we need to reduce the cost compared to the rest of the world, and that can be easily achieved. And open source has reached a level of maturity where you are able to get the best of the world at a fraction of the cost, and that also is seen in other large companies like Facebook or Twitter or Google using open source in a variety of ways, using their own tricks. But effectively, open source, in my opinion, is here to stay and can give you a distinct advantage if you are able to inculcate that in your lifestyle.
What about the cost involved for the BSE in bringing in the technical innovation in the systems?
As I said, we have now become 50 times faster. We moved from 10 milliseconds to 200 microseconds response times, and we became 100 times larger, from 5,000 orders a second to 5,000 orders a second. Our total cost has actually come down by 66% on CapEx basis, because we have gone from proprietary hardware and proprietary software into open source hardware and open source software. And so effectively, although I have become 5,000 times larger, 50 times faster and 9 times sort of larger, my cost has come down by 66%, and that speaks a volume on how you can smartly reduce your cost and actually sort of take your organization into a different orbit as far as the maturity of the system is concerned.
You just said that, the fact that we have a new program, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, is a way to stop scams like Sharda that happened in West Bengal. Could you elaborate more?
Basically, the formal financial mechanisms like banking, stock markets, mutual funds, insurance, even microfinance have not been able to reach people in rural and small towns. It's because the cost earlier used to be prohibitive for these people to be reached. Today with the technology, we are able to actually reach out to millions at a fraction of a cost using mobile handheld devices in banking, mobile trading through in the stock markets, and also through SMS and other means. And that's for me, we have come to a technological level which can allow us to reach out to every single individual in this country at practically zero marginal cost. And that for me is a very important aspect of Jan Dhan Yojana, that it becomes successful because it is being launched at the right time in terms of the technological maturity of the systems which are being used.
BSE is also one of the backbone, the parameters of the backbone of the Indian economy. But at the same time, with so many millions of users, involved in the BSEs, there is also this probability of cyber crime, with the more you use. What is BSE doing about that?
You have to worry about the cyber hacking and other things practically every moment, because it's what I call now a very organized activity, and the tools and techniques that are available are of much higher caliber than what were available before. And so we are extremely cautious on everything we do. We have several teams which work independently of each other. Sometimes they don't know that there are several such teams are working on this kind of activities. And we have to not only worry about our own main core system of trading, but we also have to worry about our website, because website is used by millions of users every day. We are one of the largest websites of any kind in the world, and that gives every company's results on real-time information about stock prices. Even people can trade using internet or mobile using our site. And so we need to worry about even websites, which is in some sense many people don't take it that seriously, and of course hacking into our main systems, our databases, and so on and so forth. So we kind of have teams, we have committees which of experts with international experiences to ensure that this thing, the hacking is taken seriously, and we continue to evolve our strategies on real time so that we are able to sort of protect ourselves and our investors and our brokers on every moment.
You also have a disaster recovery program in place. You're opening a second
DR site. We have a complete and full disaster recovery site, which is called near DR site, within 50 kilometers of our main production site, which is within the BSE building. So anytime any mishap happens, we are able to sort of take over from the DR site. But we also are now in the process of launching our new DR site, what we call FAR DR site from Hyderabad. And that would be basically in a different seismic zone, because this being, as you said, one of the prime IT infrastructure and also prime organization in the country, which gives you idea about the wealth that the country holds. It's important for us to be very careful on providing services that are uninterrupted and ensure that every user is able to get the response time that he or she expects from us, that is 200 times.
So Prime Minister called for Digital India. How do you see the BSE's role?
BSE is in a sense a role model for many organizations to adopt new technologies. Of course, BSE also has an ambition to reach out to every Indian to invest in markets, because for us the markets give you much better returns than any other comparable asset classes. And for example, Sensex, if you had invested your money in Sensex in 1979, if you had invested 100 rupees, today it would have become 27,000 rupees, 270 times. No other asset class gives you that kind of returns. But there is a misunderstanding in people's minds, not we are able to reach out to the masses using the cost consultation earlier. So now using technology, we also want to reach out to the masses. And today, if there are 26 million investors in India, by 2035, we want to have 25 crore, that is 250 million investors trading on or investing on BSE's platform. So we are also expanding our capacity, we are expanding our reach out into the 6 lakh villages, so that every Indian is not provided their ability to invest into stock markets, in mutual funds, in real estate, through investment trust, insurance, and so on and so forth, using our platform.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope I have asked you the